Hey everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes. I'm Natalie McFarland, founder and president of McFarland Productions, director at Off Your Rocker Films, and your host. In these episodes, you can expect deleted scenes, in-depth campaign reviews, project highlights, marketing concepts, book reviews, and a deep dive into the creative process at Off Your Rocker Films. We'll also be covering invaluable lessons on mentorship, leadership, and the business of it all. We are so excited to be releasing our episodes every Sunday as your soft launch to Monday. Hey everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes, your soft launch to Monday. Today is going to be a little different. We are visiting our friends at Ida Mae Home in Texas, and we're going to do a little tour of our facility. So we have Rashanda and Kristen both. So a little different kind of podcast. We're not going to sit and interview. Instead, we're going to see a process. So come along with us. Most impressive printer I've ever seen. So I want to introduce you with my friend Rashanda. She is the lady that's going to walk us through the process here at Ida Mae Home. What are we doing? This is the coolest printer I've ever seen.
This is our print room. So we print all of our fabrics here in-house. So everything starts off with a white piece of fabric. And then we do sublimation printing. So we print it on the paper and then transfer it.
So everything for Ida Mae is printed here in-house, yes. Right? Yes. So all Texas design, exactly. Texas made, US made, all the things.
Yeah, we design it, we print it, we make everything from start to finish.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a printer to this scale before, but I suppose if you're going to make a quilt out of it, you better be able to make a big sheet of fabric. Yeah, awesome. So from here, where do we go?
We go to the heat transfer machine.
Cool. Okay, so explain to me what's the next step.
This is the heat transfer machine. So this is where we take the paper and transfer the print to the fabric.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Okay, so those were large sheets of paper. So is it like a t-shirt style heat press kind of thing?
Basically, just a bigger format.
A giant one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Some like printers and things like certain colors are a problem. Is that something that you guys run into? How do you decide on pattern?
Yeah, so that's the great thing about our process. There's really no color limitations. And with the heat press, you get amazing color vastness because of the high temperatures of the heat.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it's one-sided printed fabric, right? So that's why we do two different colors, and I love like the combos between those for any of them. The liners are almost always my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have a lot of options here.
Yeah,
with being able to print our own fabrics.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's next?
So, quilters.
I'm afraid of my sewing machine with one needle. Hey, tell me what's going on here. Obviously, there is quilting in a sewn pattern into the fabric, right?
Yeah. So we have options to do multiple patterns. We do have about 50 needles running at one time, but that's how you do this.
Wow. How many, it seems like a pretty fast process. There's not somebody that has to stand here and, sew each individual little piece. Like, the production of something like this has to be so much faster than kind of traditional quilting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you have all the
cutting table. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so after everything's printed, it goes through the quilters and then it's ready to cut before it goes to sewing and every single sidewalk.
So you guys are cutting quilts, pillow shams, jackets, bags, all that sort of thing.
She's cutting for pajamas right now, so we have a lot of different categories.
Excellent. I really love the pajamas. I really want to buy a few sets of pajamas. They're so cute. But
yeah, they're really fun.
How do you, manage? I know scrap can be a problem. What do you guys do when you end up with scrap?
That's how we wound up with such a robust line. Is we first just made quilts, and we had scrap fabric, and we were like, what can we do with it? So then we started making bags out of the extra yarn and fabric, and that's how it all kind of was grew into the lifestyle brand.
Minimize the amount of fabric waste, in the process, so you're not just losing it to nothing. Yeah, that's awesome. So where from here? Where do we go?
From cutting, it goes to sewing, where they finalize everything.
Cool. Let's see it.
Is our sewing department, so this is where everything is finished. We have a lot of customized machines, things with specialties like handles, zippers, that kind of thing that help the process more efficient. But this is where it all gets made.
All the handles and things, that is probably one of the more time-consuming. Zippers have to be really more time-consuming than most
those
things.
Little details.
Yeah. And some of the jackets are snaps, right? If I remember right. Yeah. And some are open, so you get a little bit of every version of closure. But yeah, she's so efficient. Just keep going. You know?
So they're working on bags today, so they have a lot going on.
Yeah. We've been working through the SEO on the site, so there's a bunch, but is there like 12-ish, if I remember right?
As far as sizes, we have 6 sizes as far as like the different components, but we do have some others in the works, so we'll be introducing new ones soon.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a big process. I knew that this was going to have a lot of hands involved in it, but honestly, it might be fewer hands than I thought it was. Just with these giant quilters over here, that's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Process. We have an amazing team, very efficient. So they make it happen.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, let's go back into the front, and we can chat some more about just Ida Mae as a brand. I'd just love to know a little bit more about it and share it with everybody.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, I do love this one. Yeah. This is the best part. The shopping part is my favorite part. Boy, I love this one. Kristen, when did you guys start doing the like one print? What are we calling these? Icon? Engineered prints. Yeah. It's a little different than like the patterns. It's pretty fun. They're so cute. So this is Kristen. She is founder and the whole reason that Ida Mae exists, right?
Yeah.
So why did you start it?
Well, we started it initially in honor of my grandmother, Ida Mae, and we started because we felt really strongly that we needed to make product here in the United States. We had been importing for years, and we had thought about, gosh, if they can do it overseas, we can do it here. But we really didn't have time until COVID hit. And when everything shut down, it gave us time to think about the process and come up with a business plan and convert all of our business from overseas to here. Yeah. So it's been a labor of love.
Did you all have it overseas already, like previous to COVID, or did you basically start manufacturing during that?
We started manufacturing in 2020 and 2021 here in Texas. Yeah. And before that, again, it was 100% overseas. And so we would just contract with different factories and have them make it.
Gotcha.
But again, we just felt really strongly that we needed to make the product here. And it's great because first off, we're able to do unlimited designs. And so our speed to market, like we've talked about, is really fast. And so we're able to do, if we want to do this in a purple, we can test it out and have it out that day, which is really nice. But the other thing, again, is we're creating American jobs. And so I'm really proud of our team. It's taken years to build, but they're amazing. And so that's really important to us as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something so satisfying and helpful to you and your designer base, really. Something that we do is sometimes we'll do some print stuff, right? We'll do mailers or business cards or whatever the thing is that we're designing for print. And gosh, it feels like it takes forever to be able to actually see it in real life. And sometimes I'm like, dang, if I had seen that in a sample, I might have changed a little bit how I would have done that, So how beneficial to be able to walk from here to there and be able to see it in person, because sometimes things don't print the way you expected them
You're exactly right. We'll go through multiple rounds of strikes just to make sure it's perfect, and it is really nice. Instead of having to wait 6 months to get, to get it and go back and forth again, it really gives us a huge advantage being able to do that.
Yeah, I working with you guys over the last 6 months or so, maybe a little longer at this point, it's been amazing to me how quickly you can go from here's a concept to here's a product.
Right.
And I think that is so valuable in today's market for a business to be able to do that. What have you done? Obviously 2020 to now is not a very long time frame, but you guys have grown this from before that, and then since then you've grown like crazy. What do you attribute your number one piece of success to? Is it that process of being able to do it here?
Absolutely. I think I think made in Texas is the number one thing. And again, we guarantee our quality. Every single piece is made with so much care and intention. Our team, they look at every single thing coming through. And so I'm really proud of everything that goes out the door, and our team is really proud of it. So I think that resonates with our customers. And I think it's also about the relationships. Again, both with our team and both with our customers, because we've got great customers who appreciate what we're doing. And I think that's really important.
Gosh, relationships are 90% of the game when you're in business, I think. And
I
maybe
agree.
more than that. It might be more like 130% of
Yeah.
the game, right? It might be
I
actually
agree.
the game. But
I agree.
relationships are so huge, and being able to work with other brands or retailers or whatever, especially when you're creating something unique for that particular retailer or something.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal to
It's
be
a
able to
very
do
big
that.
deal. A very big deal. Well, and that's what keeps you going through the tough, through the COVID times and everything, are those relationships, We support each other, and I think it's about community. And again, our customers have just been wonderful, very, very supportive, and that's huge. So we're loyal to them too.
Yeah, for sure. Is Ida Mae still with us, your grandma?
No, she passed.
What would Ida Mae say about all the patterns and seeing her inspiration come to life?
That's a great question. I think she would be blown away. So, I do have old quilts that she worked on. Of course, it was a different time. It was a very social time to get together and quilt. But I think she'd be really honored to see this. And like I said, just how it's grown, I think she would just be, like I said, kind of blown away. She was a pretty special person. So.
Do you have a pattern that reminds you most of her?
Yes, our patchwork quilts definitely remind me most of her, because that they're taken from
traditional.
And they're taken from vintage patterns, and so that reminds me of some of the work she did. She did a butterfly quilt that I have, and it's just so pretty. I love it. And so again, we've got a butterfly that's a patchwork that reminds me of her as well.
Yeah, you guys have really done a nice job of developing a unique set of products too, from the vests to the quilts, that can actually go on the bed and that sort of thing. And I don't know if prior to working with y'all or being aware of Ida Mae, I had seen you guys around, but being aware of you guys, I don't know if I had seen really much that was kind of that traditional quilt feel, but in apparel and in bags, and kind of used the way that you use them. Rashanda told us a little bit about some of that coming to be out of how I use the excess of this.
Yes,
but
exactly.
what made you want to go into other things like apparel and bags and things like that?
Well, it started with that initially, is that, quilts were our bread and butter. But then, like Rashanda said, we would cut the quilts and you would have leftover product, or fabric rather. And so, we just felt like it wasn't good to be throwing all this great fabric away. So we just started coming up with ways we could convert it. And the first thing we did were the jackets. And the jackets, really from trips to Round Top and different places, we were starting to see a little bit of that trend. And so we thought that'd be pretty cool. We hadn't seen anything like ours, with the prints all over it. We'd seen the vintage ones, which are gorgeous. So this is kind of a different animal. But we just started coming up with jacket patterns, and they took off. They just took off almost immediately. And then we started coming up with the bags after that, because we thought, let's make a tote bag and just see. And so we made one tote bag, and again, we had a great reaction. So we're like, well, here we go. And it's kind of fun now because we try to come up with different silhouettes consistently, which I know Rashanda mentioned as well, just to kind of keep it fresh and, some new styles out there, which is fun.
Yeah. You guys have so many patterns, and
We do.
have had so many patterns in the
We do.
past. How do you come up with a new one? What are some of the places that you pull inspiration from? I know there's creatives out there of all kinds, right? And
Right.
where we pull inspiration from is always interesting.
Yeah, that's also a great question. And it really, I would say, it's just from everywhere. I know that sounds very general, but I just looking around, seeing what everyone's wearing. I've got a 17-year-old, so I get a lot of inspo from what's trending there. I love Pinterest. Pinterest is one of my favorite sources to look for trends, to see what people are wearing at the shows. All of those good things. And then we work with a variety of artists who hand draw patterns for us. And so I get a lot of inspo from these artists because, again, they're out there looking, and each one has a different perspective. And so we like working with a variety of artists for that reason, so we can get a different eye and look, with the patterns.
Yeah, I love that your process allows for that like hand painted, hand drawn
Yes.
sort of look. Not everything can do that, right?
Right.
Like if you talk about embroidery, it's got to be pretty clean lines,
Yes.
pretty solid colors, that
Yes.
sort of thing, right? So this is just such a different process to be able to include like just like the darker edge on a paint stroke.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
versus the center of it's usually a little lighter.
You're exactly right. Because if you look at a piece of art with all the texture and the shading, I mean, it could have 30 colors in it.
Yeah.
And as you know, when you import something, you have to really pare that down to a pretty minimal pattern.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really nice because they do become works of art, you
Yeah,
know, because it's
sure.
truly a hand-drawn piece that you can convert.
Yeah, something that I love about them too is like it's so easy. You could use the reverse side if you wanted to, even.
Yeah.
Because usually the reverse side is just as cute
Yeah,
as the top
thank
too.
you.
But what I love is that they're so easy to change out. You know, I'm kind of one of those people that gets bored with
Yeah.
what I picked. Right.
I hear you,
And so
yes.
it's kind of nice to have a few options to be able to
Yes.
switch them out in a bedroom or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And I love to layer. So I'll layer 3 or 4 on the bed. And it's so good too because we've got a million dogs. And so you can pull it up and, you know, cover your bed and then just throw in the washing machine. And the more you wash them, the softer they get.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice as well.
Probably kind of, is it batting that's in between or whatever? Probably kind
Yeah,
of
the
breaks it
fill,
down a little bit.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
yeah.
And they just get softer and fluffier. And that's some of the best feedback we get from our customers is how much they love it after they wash them and dry them.
Really
And
wear.
yeah.
That's really nice too. You know, like I love Pendleton wool so much,
Yes.
right? I have a beautiful Pendleton wool on 2 of our beds at home, and man, the only thing I hate about them is I got to take them to a dry cleaner, and where I am, that's an hour and a half away. That we don't have any
Oh my
dry
gosh.
cleaners in our
Oh
area.
my gosh,
So
yeah.
like having something that I can throw in the wash
Yeah.
sounds real nice.
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
said, that's a big deal to me. It's easy care, you know. I
Yeah.
think that's really important because we're all so busy,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
with everything.
I think what's kind of nice too is like they seem to hold up really well from like a fade perspective, right?
They
I
do.
love big windows. I want giant windows. If I could live in a
Yes.
glass house, I would.
I love that.
And they just seem to hold up so well
They
from
do.
all of it. Even
They
you know,
do.
they look delicate, but they
Yeah.
actually do hold up really nice.
Thank you. And again, I think it's that process that we use, you know, that we've kind of perfected, and that really helps with the color fastness and everything else. And then, like I said, the team and the quality checks, you know, it goes through multiple before it gets to the customer.
What does it mean to you as a founder to have watched the brand go from your grandma's hands to what it is now? That's I mean, it almost becomes another child, right?
It does. You're absolutely right.
What does that mean to you, and what's that process been like? Hard, number one, but besides that.
A lot of work, yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's been a labor of love, you know, and
Yeah.
and honestly, it took us years to perfect the process, you know. We got it down, you know, fairly quickly, but we always laugh. The first rollout, we bought all the wrong equipment. We bought a quilter that quilted comforters and not quilts. We bought the wrong printer, and so, you know, we've just had to evolve. And I think a lot of times through that, though, you learn so much, and you learn what not to do, which is just as important as what to do.
Maybe more important
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, just starting there with no process and now to where we are today, I'm really proud of that. Also, again, I go back to our team, but they're incredible. They really are. And just like I said, just how much they put into each product is just really special. And so, you know, for me, when I go out on the floor and I look at the team and I look at, you know, just what they're putting into it, and then I look at the end result, that's when I just get so excited, and then it kind of hits you like, wow, this is great.
It's working.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, the fact that we were able to do it, and how every single thing you see starts with just a white piece of fabric, and then how they're able to craft it into these beautiful bags and jackets and quilts, I think is really rewarding.
Yeah, stitch patterns are such a big deal in quilting, and I don't pretend to know enough about it. But
Yes.
but I know like quilters, when they're doing it by hand, it's like, oh, it's this specific stitch
Oh, yeah.
pattern and that
Yes.
sort of thing. How do you guys choose like this stitch pattern for that pattern? How do you know that as you're going into it?
So most of it is, we use a vermicelli stitch is what it's called, pretty standard, but our machines have capability to do multiple stitches. And just, you know, over the years, you can kind of look at a pattern and tell what's going to look best, you know, with that. But like I said, we usually use the one stitch because it's so easy to go with different patterns. It works well
fits
with,
really well.
It does.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like on one that's even fairly solid on the back, you know, there's little florals and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if it's a solid fabric, it's not really a solid thing.
Right.
Well, I cannot tell you how much we've loved working with you and your whole team. Every single person here is just incredible.
Thank you. Likewise.
We've really appreciated it. And, you know, we love seeing the growth, and it's been fun to walk through the facility finally and get to see some of the process. It's, you know, maybe some of my favorite parts are when we actually get to see how it's done, you know, and I appreciate you spending time on the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
And,
appreciate you.
Thanks.